Stay informed. Stay connected.
These politicians are hypocrites.
You can blame this directly on the government.
News Talk KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Northern Steel Building. A bill to crack down on noisy tailpipes on some cars failed in a close vote in the Utah House of Representatives after some passionate debate from tired lawmakers. Representative Mark Wheatley's House Bill 72 would require a vehicle to be inspected for a modified muffler whenever it goes in for an emissions inspection. If there was a modified muffler or a cutout, then the owner would not be able to get their certificate. The bill faced some pushback from lawmakers who questioned if it could really be enforced, no matter how annoying it is. Representative Jeff Stenquist, Republican from Draper, said he thought it seemed like a backdoor to introducing safety inspections during the emissions process. The other thing is, emissions tests are not required in all counties. But some lawmakers rallied support for the bill, arguing that it is a top constituent complaint, the noisy cars that race through their neighborhood. The bill failed on a 35-39 vote. KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Partly cloudy this evening, then mostly cloudy. Haze through the night. Patchy fog after midnight, low near 15. Partly cloudy on Wednesday. Patchy morning fog and hazy conditions, mid-30s for the high, and the same for Thursday. All the way to 38 today. It's 37 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, Cache Valley's most trusted name in hearing aid technology. Call 753-HEAR, 753-HEAR.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, and where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work, or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
KVNU News Time is 5:07. Cache Republican caucus meetings will happen in exactly a month. That's March 8th. For those unfamiliar with what exactly a caucus is, it's a meeting held in every precinct or neighborhood where you will elect your neighbors to be delegates who will represent your neighborhood precinct at Republican state and county conventions. On KVNU's For the People program on Monday, Cache County Republican Party Chairman Chris Booth said especially with redistricting, it's important first to find out what precinct you are in.
But due to redistricting, we had to, our county clerk's office worked very hard, and they had to redraw the precinct maps. And so all of that's been updated. You go to the elections tab under the Cache County Clerk's website, and you can go to the interactive map. There's a link there that will open that up. Type in your address, and it will give you your precinct number.
And that's just one event on a rather busy calendar. Following the caucus meetings will be the county nominating convention on March 26th. But before all of that is the annual Lincoln Day Dinner coming up on February 19th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the USU Ballroom. The keynote speaker will be Lily Tang Williams. Her topic is My Two Cultural Revolutions.
And I just think it's going to be phenomenal. And it kind of sticks with our theme a little bit of, in an election year, we try to steer away from politicians. And so get us something a little different because, no offense to our elected officials and people running for office, we hear enough from you.
That's right.
And you can get more information on all their events at cachegop.com. And a bill that would eliminate vehicle emissions testing in Idaho's most populated region was approved by the Senate Transportation Committee today. The bill from Meridian Republican Senator Lori Den Hartog would eliminate the emission testing requirements for Ada and Canyon counties in the summer of 2023, but leave the door open for regions to create air quality commissions and take other actions if pollution levels are deemed too high. It now goes to the full Senate for consideration. Roughly 97% of vehicles in the area pass emissions tests, but Boise's air is still near the federal ceiling for ground ozone levels. KVNU News Time is 5:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
For the people, weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Adams Wealth Advisors' entire team says, thank you, Cache Valley, for voting them the best financial planner in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Honesty and integrity is the hallmark of Adams Wealth Advisors. Let them earn your trust today.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
Wow, your cars look so shiny.
Thanks. I've been taking them to Green Gorilla Car Wash. Thanks to their new ceramic application, my cars have never had such a glossy shine.
Sounds expensive.
You haven't heard about their sale? Right now, their Jungle membership with ceramic coating is half off for every vehicle. Instead of $30 per month, I'm only paying $14.99 from now until September 2022.
That's almost a whole year.
I know. My half-price membership is good at both Green Gorilla locations in the valley.
I better head there now.
On the next Handle on the Law.
There is no reason you can't say I want a brand new computer because the $600 screen is broken. You would legally be entitled to $600. I don't think you're entitled to anything. All you can do is sue your boyfriend for negligent parental supervision. And the defense is, hey, my kid went up there and broke the computer. The law or the court would say, Linda, things happen in life. It's Handle on the Law, Saturdays from 1 to 4 on News Talk KVNU, the voice of Northern Utah.
Feels like Tuesday. Tuesday has no feel.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, Hour 2 of today's show. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and good choice on tuning in at this time. We have something important to go over with a very special guest. Yesterday on the show, we spoke with Cache Republican Party Chairman Chris Booth. And as chair of the party, he laid out the schedule coming up, working backwards here from the state convention in April to the county convention in late March to the most important date of all of this here in Utah, Caucus Night. March 8th, this will take place. And it truly is the night when, for better or worse, a lot of decisions are made here in Utah when it comes to the upcoming elections. That being because within Utah's Republican Party, they do hold a caucus convention system, both at the county and state level, and delegates are asked to make some important decisions in those caucus and convention systems. They sometimes decide who the nominee for the party will be for the election. And it being Utah, of course, we're realistic. Most likely the Republican is going to win the general election, so the nomination contest is often where the fight really is in the electoral process. So becoming a delegate is important in Utah, and wide swath of representation in that delegate makeup is also important. The problem is we don't really have that in Utah. Joining us right now is someone who wants to change that by getting more people from more diverse backgrounds to try to be a delegate. And joining us right now is our good friend Les Carpenter. And Les, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. You've put together an event that is geared entirely towards getting people who would normally not paying attention to this process, or maybe be thinking to themselves, well, it's not for me. And you want to change that mindset. You want to get people involved.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we start getting younger generations a little bit more educated on how our political system works in Utah. because we're having decisions that are being made for us, and we're the ones who are going to be having long-feeling impacts of those decisions. So we need to get some skin in the game.
Sure. And as you just said, many of these decisions will have ramifications for years to come, not just who sits in a political office from the county level on up to the state level, even Congress and the United States Senate, but delegates also get to weigh in on the future of the party, the platform of the party. It can make up, very important decision-making committees at the county and state level. And many people just feel, well, this is for the insiders. This is for the people that have been involved for years. And that's not the case, right? The whole point of the delegate system is to get people in at the ground level for the first time, right?
Right. You're 100% accurate when you say that people are under the illusion that it's just for party insiders. And it's not. Anybody can become a delegate. A delegate is basically just a representative that's picked from your precinct, which is basically the size of like a ward. And you go and you stand up and you say who you are and why you would like to be a delegate and serve your area. And then everyone in that area votes. And different precincts have a different allotment of how many delegates they're given. But both state and county delegates are so important because I know that the state delegates get a lot more attention because that's a really exciting one because that's the one that we focus on for congressional. But the county ones are really important because they determine our state senators and our House representatives. They determine our county councils. Those are the ones that are really important because those determine what's happening in our day-to-day lives.
Sure.
So it's important to get county delegates out there as well.
One of my favorite parts of being a delegate a long time ago myself, I was surprised by this, but for both major parties here in Utah, we're talking a few thousand delegates, which sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to the population of registered voters in the state, it's not. And I got calls, one-on-one conversations with candidates for the United States Senate, for Congress, for county races, for the state legislature, both House and Senate, and they were calling my phone and wanted to talk to me individually, and that's a really unique and rare opportunity that doesn't really happen outside of Utah.
No, it gives you a tremendous opportunity to have a candidate's ear like other regular voters do not have. And it is exhilarating to become a very important person and have these people call you and try to gather your support. So, I mean, it is exciting.
Sure. And the Utah Republican Party had a few years ago put out a bit of a demographic report on delegates, and we learned from that, and you mentioned this today when you were promoting this upcoming How to Become a Delegate event, which we'll talk more about in a bit. The average age, give people an example of why the current set of delegates may not be very representative of Utah, but also may lack some of the perspective of younger people, especially younger parents in their 30s. The average age of a delegate in Utah, in the Utah Republican Party, is 55 and older, and the majority, by far, of them are men. So a lot of people are sort of being left out of the conversation, and you want to invite them in with this event. The simple title, How to Become a Delegate.
Right. So the state party actually has like a 30 under 30 initiative, and their hope is to have 30% of the delegates be under 30. But right now that figure is it's around 3%. So they're not even close to it. And recent data that we've had shows that over 75% of Utah delegates, they are 55 and older, and they are men. And so, I'm not saying that younger voices or the women voices are any better, but those voices, they think differently. And so we need to have a wider array of opinions that are going forward because if we have just men in their 50s and older, we're missing out on causes that could improve Utah.
Sure. And, the the Utah Republican Party setting that goal of 30% under 30 in the delegate makeup is also about the future of the party as well, right? Not just future potential candidates, of course, that would be one result, but also knowing that the party needs to stay current. They need to stay where, those people under 30 right now, within 10 years, they're the major voting bloc.
Right.
So
it's important that the party continues to evolve, and it's important that, at least in my opinion, that we make more of a return to, the tent is big enough for all of these voices. And so I appreciate that they have taken this stance about getting the younger generation more involved.
Sure. It's important, and I wish the other major parties would follow suit on this. Maybe they will after they see how it goes for the Utah Republican Party this year. To help the party meet that goal, Les is put together an event. The event takes place two different ways, in person and online. For the in-person side of the event, it is Friday, February 25th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., at the Salt Lake Chamber Boardroom, which is 201 South Main Street, Suite 2300 there in Salt Lake City. For those of you listening here in Cache Valley and our friends in Box Elder County and along the Wasatch Front, might be easier to join online, and that is an option. They will have a Zoom portion of this event, and again, the event titled How to Become a Delegate. Les, can you give us an example? If a person decides to join from here in Cache Valley Friday morning, February 25th, and they join via Zoom, what can they expect to learn?
So it will start at 12 o'clock, and it will go through till at least 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the time wrong. That's my bad.
Oh, no.
12 to 1. Okay.
No, you got it correct. The in-person one is from 10 to 11:30.
Okay.
The Zoom portion will be from 12 to 1.
Oh, very nice.
And so we're not going to combine them so that I can give equal focus to both parties.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. So 12 to 1 for the online portion, and many people in Cache Valley would want to take advantage of that. And you'll be presenting, of course, as sort of the founder of this Become a Delegate training program. And you have a whole presentation that you'll be giving. And you're speaking from quite a bit of experience, right?
Not personal experience. This will be my first year running as a delegate.
Oh, wow. So you're going right along with the people you're training. That's very nice.
Right. I'm going to, we put together this program, and it breaks down the entire delegate process, from what a delegate is, what their power is, what the caucus night looks like, what the election will look like, because a lot of people, when I say you should run as a delegate, they get really nervous and they say, oh, I don't want to do a campaign. And they're really intimidated. And it's hard because a lot of people assume it's a regular campaign, but it's basically just a 5-minute speech that you give in front of your neighbors. And then we break down how to increase your odds of getting elected as a delegate. And then we talk about the county convention and the state convention and what you can expect from those. But we want to take you through every single step so that it takes away the mystery and the intimidation factor.
Sure.
If you want to go on to the actual platform, it's becomeadelegate.com, and it's free. You sign up with your name and your email, and it gives you all of these lesson plans that you can go through. So if you want to go through these before the event, you're welcome to do that, and then I will go over them in greater detail, and then we'll have a question and answer portion towards the end, that if anybody was confused about something, then we'll go over it again. But it's such a good resource, and so I decided, hey, we've got this great amount of information, and I'm going to put it to the test, and I'm going to try it out myself and see how well I can do with it.
That is very nice. And as an example, This would mean, so if you're successful at your bid to become a delegate on caucus night, your experience, you have worked with the PTA. You're very involved in your child's education, and also get a chance to. Now, this is very cool. You sit on the school community council for your child's school on the school's land trust program. And you've also worked as with the Cache Valley Children's Justice System. Currently, you served as a board president and member there. So that's a great example of someone with a very unique set of personal experience that you would then bring that to decisions within the party, decisions and issues that you might bring up when talking with candidates in an election year as a delegate. And this applies to anyone, right? And it could be someone whose experience is in farming, or repairing cars, a homemaker. That's one that personally I think both parties could use with a good dose of. A few homemakers there in decision-making positions. But that's the point, right?
Right. We really do need to get, it's a passion project of mine, to get more women involved. Men think about things differently. And they worry about things differently. Like, they're focusing, typically on our businesses and taxes. And moms, we worry about our children's mental health. We worry about their school system. We worry about bullying projects. And so I think that those are areas that they need to have representation for.
Sure.
And so not just with women, but I think it would be incredible if we started getting more college students involved, because they have experiences that me as a mom, I don't understand, because I haven't been in college for several years. And so I would like to know, what are college students concerned about? What are college students, wanting to see happen with our state? We really need to get anybody. And anybody, when I say anybody, if you are a registered Republican and you are 18 years old, you can run as a delegate.
Sure. And again, this all starts March 8th with caucus nights. So the timing of this training is perfect. One more time, there are two options for those of you listening here in Cache Valley or outside the Valley. There is an in-person event on Friday, February 25th, How to Become a Delegate. And that takes place at the Salt Lake Chamber Boardroom, which is 201 South Main Street, Suite 2300 there in Salt Lake City. This information on our Facebook page as well if you're driving and want to find that there later. For the online event, which might be easier for a lot of you here in Cache Valley, that takes place the same day, February 25th, Friday, but at noon. And noon to 1, there is an online event. And everything you need to know as far as registration, making sure that that link is sent to you so you can join the online event and more, is available via the links I've shared on our Facebook page. There's an Eventbrite event. And as Les has mentioned here as well, there is a How to Become a Delegate website, which has this and a lot more information. I'm looking at it now. And Les, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show today, but really I just have to take a second and say hats off to you. I've never seen anything like this happen. I knew the Republican Party had set this 30% to under 30 goal, and this is the first real effort I've seen to make that a reality. And hats off to you for putting your time in to organize this and run to be a delegate at the same time.
Thank you. It's been really exciting to learn about the process myself, because at the beginning of last year, I didn't know anything about delegates. And I reached out to people who had previously run as state and county delegates. I've spoken to current legislators, lobbyists, and with all of their help and, kind of weaving it all together, I've had everybody say that has looked through it that it's the most comprehensive guide that's out there on Utah delegates. So I'm really excited to start sharing this with people and breaking down some of the intimidation. And I'm really excited to see what new voices we can add to the delegates this year.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see where this goes. And again, just hats off to you for doing it. Everyone, take advantage of this. Our guest, again, Leslie Carpenter, founder of the Become a Delegate training program. Their event will take place Friday, February 25th, one more time in person at the Salt Lake Chamber Boardroom in Salt Lake City at 10 a.m., and then an online event, maybe easier for those of you here in Cache Valley, at noon on Friday, February 25th. There's an Eventbrite registration event. It is a free event, and, of course, we'll keep you posted on this as well on the Facebook page. A lot of links there that you can click on this, but an easy-to-remember website to get you started, becomeadelegate.com. And while you're thinking about all this, especially women out there, check out the Women's Leadership Institute as well, sponsor of this event. It's an amazing resource to encourage you to consider running for office, to consider running as a delegate, to consider basically all of the things that maybe have never crossed your mind before. An encouragement from the Women's Leadership Institute to stop doing that and get involved. Their website I've linked on our Facebook page as well. It's WLIUT for Utah, WLIUT.com. But again, make your first stop, becomeadelegate.com, and consider making some time for either the in-person event at 10 a.m. or the online event at noon on Friday, February 25th, how to become a delegate in the upcoming caucus convention system, which really that process gets underway March 8th, as we heard from Chris Booth, the chair of the Cache Republican Party yesterday. Our guest again, founder of Become a Delegate, the training program, Leslie Carpenter. And Les, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today, and we look forward to speaking again soon.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is ours. And listeners, appreciate you tuning in as well. Please stay tuned. More of For the People right after this.
Okay, guys, she's very forgiving, but this is the one time you need to get it right. Valentine's is Monday, February 14th. Call your phone order in now to Plant Peddler Floral. You'll see that something magical happens, and you'll get all the credit when the delivery guy shows up at the house or her place of work with a beautiful arrangement of flowers. Call Plant Peddler and have a credit card ready. Plant Peddler takes care of the rest. They'll deliver her Valentine's flowers and make you the hero she thinks you are. Call Plant Peddler Floral, 435-753-0444.
Utah has great schools, but not every child has access to them. It's time to abandon a one-size-fits-all approach to education and create more hope and opportunity for every Utah student. The Hope Scholarship Bill will allow families to direct education dollars to meet their child's individual learning needs. With Hope Scholarships, every student can access the education that's right for them. Tell your legislators to support the Hope Scholarship Bill. Visit uthopescholarship.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Cache County homeowners, do you have a wood-burning stove or fireplace? Have Chim Chimney and Logan replace it with a gas insert or stove to receive a $2,800 to $4,000 state grant. Sign up now at stoves.utah.gov to receive an application. You can find out more about the program at chimchimney.com or by calling 435-755-9990. That's Chim Chimney in Logan and Brigham City. They sell, service, and install.
Thanks again to Les Carpenter for joining us. Really proud, again, to say that a Cache Valley resident is behind this effort. BecomeAdelegate.com is the website. The event, again, is February 25th, one in person in the morning, 10 to 11:30 a.m. at the Salt Lake City Chamber of Commerce Boardroom there in downtown Salt Lake City. The in-person event, which I'm assuming most in Cache Valley and our listeners along the Wasatch Front in Box Elder County and Rich County would prefer, is the online event, which happens at noon, Friday, February 25th. There is a registration for this. So at becomeadelegate.com, you can sign up to receive updates in general, but you can also sign up to receive customized delegate training lessons, and you can sign up for this event. There is an Eventbrite event for this as well, and I've posted all of that on our Facebook page. But please do this. It's important. And like I said, this is a stated goal of the Utah Republican Party to make the delegate group more reflective of the actual population. So they have this 30 by 30, 30 under 30 goal, which is, the stated goal to have 30% of the delegates be under the age of 30. Right now, by far the majority of delegates are over the age of 55. They'd like to shift that, build their bench. These delegates might become future candidates, might become future members of Congress or the United States Senate or the state legislature or county council or what have you. And so, getting the younger people to plug back in is a priority of the Utah Republican Party. After they've seen things trend the opposite direction the last few years, their report last year said. So, again, happy to say a Cache Valley resident is behind this, founder of Become a Delegate, Les Carpenter. Appreciate your time again, Leslie, if you're out there listening. The website, one more time, becomeadelegate.com. And get this, an example of how different perspectives, different walks of life, different set of experience makes a difference. Leslie and others actually talked to the state party chair, county party chairs, and said, one thing that we have known all along as mothers is that, caucus night oftentimes happens, it always happens in the evening. It's caucus night. And so it's difficult to get out and be a part of this because, you've got kids at home. And so a lot of times a woman's husband would go out and become a delegate. She'd stay home with the kids. And so, or vice versa, sometimes I would guess, only one or the other can go out. And so they suggested, what would be great is if there were childcare options, sort of like a temporary sitter that would be on site at caucus night locations. So women would be encouraged to come out and know they've got a safe spot, someone they know, someone from their neighborhood or their ward even, who's going to be watching the kids there while they go participate in caucus night and maybe get elected by the group to be a delegate. That's just a perfect example of why different perspectives matter. And Les and others were able to make that happen here in Cache County and throughout other parts of the state. So caucus night again is March 8th. BecomeAdelegate.com is the website. The event again is Friday, February 25th, a training, how to be a delegate, a free event in person in Salt Lake City via Zoom for everyone else. If you don't want to make the trek down there at noon on February 25th, there will be a Zoom event tailored to rural communities that Les and others will be conducting virtually. So, free event. There is registration required just so they know who's coming and how many. How many, not really who. It doesn't ask you for any personal information. And so they can send you the link to the Zoom event. Sign up at becomeadelegate.com. And again, thanks to Les for joining us. Really excited this is starting in Cache Valley. We'll be back with more of For the People right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:38. The news is brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. Nobody likes fines for overdue library books except perhaps a hungry dog or cat. The Hiram Library and Cache Humane Society are teaming up during the month of February to expunge overdue book fines in exchange for donations of pet supplies needed by shelter animals. The idea is not a new one, according to Hiram Children's librarian Ariel Ballard. Each year in February, the Hiram Library donates the book fines collected to a worthy local charity. In 2021, they donated those funds to Little Lambs Foundation for Kids. Ballard said that the library plans to give patrons with overdue fine balances credit for the retail value of any pet supplies they choose to donate through the month of February. She admits, however, that the library doesn't have a huge backlog of overdue fines. Most of their patrons with fine balances owe less than $20. The wish list on the Cache Humane website indicates that the shelter's priority needs include dry cat and dog food, soft cat and dog treats, and cardboard scratching toys. Other priorities include office paper, paper towels, AA batteries, and Clorox wipes. The Hiram City Library is located at 50 West Main Street in the city's government complex. The Cache County Nominating Commission has selected 4 nominees to fill a judicial vacancy in Wellsville. The position will replace Judge Terry Moore, who resigned his position in May 2021. Utah State Court spokesperson Tanya Mashburn said the nominees include Judge Trevor Cook, Judge Matthew Funk, Judge Matthew Lors, and Judge Kevin Nelson. All 4 are presently serving as Justice Court judges in neighboring communities. Judge Cook is a resident of Nibley and currently the Justice Court judge of Rich County Justice Court. He is a graduate of Texas Southern University and was appointed to the bench in 2012. Judge Funk lives in Richmond and presently serves as the Justice Court judge of Richmond and Providence Justice Courts. He has been a judge since 2009 after previously graduating from Utah State University with a bachelor's and master's degree. Judge Lors serves as the Justice Court judge in North Logan and Hyde Park Justice Courts. He was appointed as a judge in 2019 and lives in North Logan. He's a graduate from USU and received a Juris Doctorate from Florida Coastal School of Law in 2010. And Judge Kevin Nelson has been the Justice Court judge of the Mattaway Justice Court since 1992. He is a graduate of Weber State University and lives in Mattaway. Mashburn explained that a comment period will be held through February 14th. A final candidate will then be selected by Wellsville Mayor Thomas Bailey within 30 days. The selection must then be certified by the Utah Judicial Council. And people are reacting online to a video showing an upper-level Latter-day Saint leader making controversial comments about race. Meanwhile, that leader, Brad Wilcox, second counselor in the Young Men General Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, apologized late Monday evening for those remarks dealing with the church's previous ban on priesthood ordination for black people. KUTV reports the comments were captured on a Zoom recording during a youth fireside Sunday in Alpine and were widely shared Monday on Twitter. KVNU News Time is 5:42.
The colder weather is here. Are your quilts and blankets looking dingy? Is your winter coat or jacket dirty enough to stand in the corner just by itself? Well, go to Mount Logan Laundry. It'll take no time at all to freshen up everything. They have the 55 and 80-pound washers, the biggest around, and great big dryers, too, and it costs a whole lot less than dry cleaning. Free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town, on the corner of 5th East, 9th North and Logan, or in Brigham at 1st East, 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
KVNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy, then mostly cloudy. Haze through the night, patchy fog after midnight, low near 15. Partly cloudy, patchy fog in the morning. Hazy conditions, mid-30s, and the same for Thursday. We warmed up to 38 this afternoon. Right now we have 31 at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Berenson Caldwell. When the bills from your accident pile up, it's time for you to consider professional legal advice. It's time for you to get the bear, Berenson Caldwell. Visit BerensonLaw.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Logan Dental Associates has been serving Cache Valley for over 20 years. They are excited to announce the addition of Dr. Brandon Preby, hygienist Emily Preby, and Dr. Curtis Taylor. Dr. Preby and Dr. Taylor will also continue to work at Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. Now allow for increased hours and advanced services at Logan Dental Associates in Logan. Call and make your appointment with Dr. Brandon Preby or Dr. Curtis Taylor at Logan Dental Associates by calling 435-787-8207.
When it comes to my wife, I can readily admit it, without shame. I'm clueless. Seriously. This Valentine's, I haven't a clue. Yet I managed to sweep her off her feet with the right gift every time. How? Here's a clue for you.
Surprise your honey by going to Cox Honeyland for delicious popcorn, sweet fudge, seasonal gifts, and unique gift baskets. Don't forget, fill your container with their honey. It's second to none. Cox Honeyland and Gifts, 1780 South Highway 89, Logan.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. We'll have more to say about this on tomorrow's show, but today was Research Day on Capitol Hill in Utah. USU, of course, making a big presence at Research Day each and every year when this happens. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a chance for universities to highlight some of the research that is going on, that has gone on in higher education throughout the state. And, of course, this is part of wooing lawmakers to invest more in higher education. But that's usually not a hard sell. They know that, an educated workforce who then has a job market that keeps them in Utah. This is all the goal, basically. But it's still a fun time to see what's going on. And USU always has surprises. There were a few things highlighted that I didn't know about. I'm not going to spell them out right now, though, because I'm going to try and get a few of these research groups as guests in the coming weeks. So I'm not going to spoil my own surprise for listeners there. But if you want to see it yourself, check it out. I've linked to it on our Facebook page. Just some amazing stuff from social work to research into climate and emergency preparedness, research into wildfires, how to better mitigate them, but also their effect on the environment, how to better mitigate that. As we discussed a little bit last year, research at Utah State University into the effect of wildfires on our water supply. Just a reminder that, everything's connected. You have a wildfire, the smoke goes in the air. We had a good time with that last summer. Remember, you were a huge fan, Bill. The constant haze throughout the summer here in Cache Valley.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, air so thick you can chew it. It feels literally. Yeah,
or you feel like you're camping out when in the middle of Logan.
That's right. But also when there's a wildfire, of course, you eventually get rain, hopefully. But eventually, all of that ash and smoke, the residue as it settles from the air, all of that is washed into the ground, either by, eventually making its way to an existing river or getting rained into the ground and filtered that way. And it does have a negative impact on our water supply. If, a wildfire here and there, it's completely expected and part of the process, and usually isn't going to show up in increased toxins in water supplies. But the wildfires, as often as we've seen them, it does start to have an effect. And that research was highlighted on Capitol Hill today and got the attention of quite a few lawmakers. So some cool stuff going on there. And, of course, USU is part of this new pipeline. They don't call it that. I think they should. But a pipeline that has been created to funnel the work of scientists and researchers at Utah State University and connect them, funnel their information, their research into more directly public policy debates at the state level. So smart move and something that we're already starting to see some returns from. Cool stuff. I've linked to some of the photos that were shared by the Utah State Senate on their Twitter account today, and those links are on our Facebook page. Something I wanted to highlight here because it is it's going to come up again and again, not just during this legislative session, but after that. Utah has this situation. We have It's complicated to explain why, but even state economist Mark Nold, when we had him here on the show, said, don't call this a labor shortage. Because he said a labor shortage is when you've tapped out your potential workforce and still have job openings. He says that's a labor shortage. He said what's going on in Utah and throughout the country really is not a labor shortage. What it is there, for some reason, a larger percentage of the populace than previous to the pandemic is sitting it out. And there are a lot of theories on this and a lot of evidence to back a lot of those theories up. One of them being that many of the people who left the workforce in 2020 were women who went home with the burden of childcare more likely falling on them than men. They went home and have since not been enticed back into the workforce or have not had the option to, because they're still lacking in their specific area childcare services. A lot of these facilities shut down temporarily and then permanently at the start of the pandemic. the state has not had a great track record of incentivizing or even funding through state assistance someone starting a child care service. The state can do a lot there. They can give, some grants, but they can also do kind of a backed loan type program, which they do with a lot of real estate development through mechanisms that exist at the city and county level, even to encourage development. They could do the same thing with any industry, and child care service could be one of them. And they haven't really jumped on that opportunity. So a lot of women are sitting out, but there's more to it than that. And this is interesting. This is research that's coming from Pew Stateline, reported by Pew Stateline. This is a great online resource for all things state policy. And now keep in mind, this isn't specific to Utah. Utah's mentioned in almost every bit of their research, as all of the other states are as well. But they try to look at this as from a nationwide perspective, and then contrast results in various states. What Pew's hoping to do is discover solutions. If they start looking at every state when it comes to the workforce, for example, in this case, and why people are sitting it out, they might see that some states have had better luck bringing them back, some states worse luck, and then they can look at those things and say, well, here's what's maybe working and not working and why. And so that's why Pew's doing this research. And what it is, it's looking into the frontline workers, basically. Because the industries that are having trouble right now, the restaurant industry, a lot of retail, the many of the service industry jobs, hospitality as well, they're all seeing construction is being hit, but not quite as bad. Transportation, trucking, all of that stuff getting hit, just hammered by this. Again, as state economist Mark Nold told us, don't call it a worker shortage, but whatever the word that fits is, people just sitting it out, not willing to, not enticed back into the workforce yet. Maybe they're still making it work, quote unquote, on a single being a one salary family. Maybe there are other reasons. Maybe they actually decided, I know one family, for example, that actually found out that by having one of the parents stay home and they alternate, they were able to actually save more money than they lost by having one in the household go down to a part-time job. So they had two full-time employed adults making the household, and one of the adults went to a part-time job temporarily, they thought at the time, and then what they found is it actually worked better. So there are cases like that anyway. Long story short, everyone, Pew says, is forgetting about retirements. And this is interesting. The Pew research basically shows that retirements are a big chunk of this problem. Early retirements, people that were close and maybe they were holding off until 67, but the pandemic hits and they decide, 65 is good enough, or 62. Or maybe they've invested and don't have to wait for a certain time to retire. They can retire when they choose. And Pew says in their research, what they found is that people age 60 and over were driven out of the workforce like crazy in 2020, and they aren't coming back. And they said this presents a very unique challenge to states, because if you are looking to entice people back into your workforce, because as they have told us here in Utah, 3 job openings for every 1 worker looking for work. If, say, even 30% of those sitting it out right now are retirees who you will not be able to entice back into the workforce, most likely, or at least not in large numbers, that's an unsolvable problem. Pew interviews a lot of folks in this, including, this was interesting, a worker who was making good money post-retirement age, so much so that he decided, he liked to work, he wasn't retiring, but he didn't need to. And he left, made a few lifestyle changes, and now works a part-time job 3 days a week and has a lot more free time, and actually started a nonprofit organization to help people his age do exactly this and leave the workforce. How ironic is that? A man driven out of the workforce in 2020 decides not to come back, starts a nonprofit to help streamline and explain the process to other people his age so they can leave the workforce too. weird times, and it's going to be interesting if these problems can't be solved. For example, retirees leaving the workforce, and there isn't a way to entice them back in. We're going to have to change a lot of things, and that's what Pew concludes. They said states are going to have to start looking at this in a very different way, and the first place they're going to have to look, Pew says, is average wages and things like minimum wage hikes. Pew says if these numbers hold up, if this really is, at least a good chunk of why the workforce is missing quite a few people more than it was 2 years ago, businesses in certain industries are going to have to do some serious self-reflecting. It'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see how much Utah state lawmakers feel they can do about this year. There is some urgency to it, but options are few, honestly. That doesn't mean it won't come up. Stay tuned to tomorrow's show for that, by the way. Al Lewis and Aggie Game Day next here on KVNU Logan.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. What happened to predictions that we'd stop buying in bulk once the pandemic subsided? Turns out Americans are still stockpiling. Also, as you've noticed, gasoline prices have risen for 6 straight weeks. An analyst explains why and when the trend might end. And former NFL quarterback Ron Jaworski on the Super Bowl. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
If you have a sweetheart, or better yet, a sweetheart who plays golf, you're going to love this sale. This is Jeff John, head golf professional at Logan River Golf Course. It's time once again for our annual Logan River Valentine's Punch Pass sale. All full passes and half passes are on sale at the lowest prices of the year. Treat the Valentine in your life to the ultimate golf gift. 10 or 20 rounds of golf at the Logan River Golf Course. Happy Valentine's Day from all of us at Logan River. Play well, play fair, play fast.
Home life extends outside the walls of your home, too. And when outside, needs a little upgrade. A new deck, landscaping, or even your dream pool or hot tub. Your home can pitch in and help with a new home equity line of credit from D.L. Evans Bank. Competitive rates, a wide range of customized terms, local decision-making and processing. Let your home help with its outdoor total makeover with a new home equity line of credit today. Find out more at dlevans.com. This is community banking. D.L. Evans Bank, equal housing lender.
Beaver Mountain will be holding the 4th annual Ted Seeholzer Memorial Giant Slalom Race Saturday, February 12th. This is a fun recreational race for intermediate and advanced skiers and boarders on Lower Harry's Hollow. Boarders start at 10 o'clock, skiers start at 11:30. You can register that morning in the lodge from 8:45 to 11, boarders by 10. $10 entry fee for all participants with a prize giveaway of a season pass for next year. Go to skithebeef.com for all the information. Channel your inner Olympian and come up Saturday, February 12th for the 4th annual Ted Seeholzer Memorial Giant Slalom Race.
Wow, your cars look so shiny.
Thanks. I've been taking them to Green Gorilla Car Wash. Thanks to their new ceramic application, my cars have never had such a glossy shine.
Sounds expensive.
You haven't heard about their sale? Right now, their Jungle membership with ceramic coating is half off for every vehicle. Instead of $30 per month, I'm only paying $14.99 from now until September 2022.
That's almost a whole year.
I know. My half-price membership is good at both Green Gorilla locations in the Valley.
I better head there now.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the Canadian truckers holding firm. Are they going to bring about the end of the COVID vaccine mandate madness in Canada? And could that spread south of the border? Plus, Clay, what do you got?
More police officers killed in 2021 than in any year since 1995. We'll talk about that data with Heather McDonald. Plus, we'll join Senator Dan Sullivan of Alaska about the Freedom Convoy going up to support those Canadian truckers. It'll be the Wednesday edition. Clay and Buck. Come, hang with us.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU.
In the vast ocean, there was room for only one victor.
Polar broadside, men! Brace yourself!
Many would never come back. But those who did would be legend. This epic battle for destiny will have to wait until after it rains.
But, Dad, we're winning.
I don't want to get wet.
Dad, we're at sea.
Well, maybe we can storm the kitchen.
Children who spend time with their parents are less likely to drop out of school, abuse drugs or alcohol, and are more likely to finish college. So imagine what a little time can do for your family.
To the deli! Free!
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.